Welcome to IAC West 2019. This is Paul Ragusa with Security Systems News. I'm very excited to have Rob Tockarshewsky here with USI Insurance Services. Hey Rob, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me out, Paul.
Yeah, so this is always an exciting show, and I'm very interested to hear about the company. Could you first tell me a little bit about your role at the company and the company itself?
Sure. So I'm Vice President on the property and casualty side for USI Insurance Services. USI is one of the largest mid-market business insurance and risk management consultancy brokerage in the world. We're about $2 billion in revenue in size, about 160 branch locations, over 6,500 professionals scattered throughout the country and really globally that are working with industries to help mitigate their losses and work from a specialized cost perspective to get the right financial impacts when it comes to insurance.
Oh, I didn't realize how big of a company is. That's impressive. So one of the big trends that obviously has been going on for a couple of years now in the industry is cybersecurity. Can you talk a little bit about the insurance side of the cybersecurity, especially related to business?
Sure. So being as large as we are and working across different industries, we have, I'll say, the benefit of the experience of seeing a lot of the different types of cyber breaches and cyber attacks that are happening today. And then working with the various companies to help in, obviously understanding that and then, the things that it takes to correct that in the future. One of the trends that we're seeing here in the electronic security and fire and life safety areas is that there is I'll say a misunderstanding or not a full understanding in terms of the cyber coverage from an insurance perspective a company should have moving forward.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I've been working with a lot of the clients and a lot of my friends within this industry to bring a greater awareness as to it's not enough to just understand that you have cyber coverage, but understanding what that cyber coverage really entails.
Yeah, and it could be, I would imagine it could be pretty daunting for some people. What are usually the first steps that you like to talk to people about what they should be doing in terms of seeing what coverage they have, what they need?
Sure. Well, from a USI insurance perspective, the first thing that we always do when we work with our industry clients and prospects is we work with them to ensure that they have a cyber incident response plan, CIRP, which is really from an overall business operations perspective is critical for an organization to have in place, because what surveys have shown is that the longer a breach is out there, the more costly it winds up being.
Yeah, absolutely.
So having the plan in place will ensure that the response and the appropriate response takes place.
Yeah, you're right. And in terms of moving forward for the industry, what are you hoping to do? Is it a kind of an educational process right now of getting people to understand what's out there and what they need to be doing to make sure they're covered?
Fantastic question, Paul. So there's two things that I would leave your audience with, and obviously with all of the folks that I'm in touch with on a daily basis. Two things that I really want to leave everybody with is, one, have a conversation with your insurance professional or your insurance broker, because the business model that you have today is much different than what you had 5 years ago, 3 years ago, even last year, as products have become more advanced. Supply chains have become much more frequent in terms of the types of companies that you're buying from and utilizing. More and more products are attaching to the internet.
Yeah.
The coverages that you have today from a general liability perspective, as well as from workers' comp and all the other things that go into risk mitigation strategy. All of those things, you need to have a regular conversation with your insurance professional. So that's the first thing that I say, because you'll find that you have gaps in coverage.
Yeah, absolutely.
The second piece is the cyber piece.
Yeah.
It's not enough to say that you have or you think you have cyber coverage. Is it a standalone policy? Is it part of your general liability? Review that as well, because you'll find that there are limitations to either the language that you have or in terms of the coverage from a dollars and cents perspective. And nowadays, the individual cyber policies are not very expensive. So, on average, a successful cyber breach is going to cost six figures, not only from the data recovery, but from the cleanup and from the restoration of your reputation, all those things that on average it's over six figures that it costs when a successful cyber breach occurs.
Yeah, so it just obviously makes so much sense to just get ahead of that. Why would, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And protect yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Rob. It's nice talking with you. I appreciate it.
Always great seeing you, Paul. Thanks very much.
All right, have a great show.
Great, thank you.